Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm very curious about the idea that they built the team with Saadhak going to server in mind. Like, I understood some win rate stats, right? IGLs on Smokes win the most, and then on Senti, then on Recon. Flash, then on Duelist. Could they not have just put Saadhak on Smokes? Like, I know I'm not trying to react to a 12-6, but like if I was building a team, I'd just put my IGL strat on Smokes. Like, unless there's like a good reason. Like, is there a good reason? You've always heard it's better to IGL from Initiator than Sentinel. Well, I mean, you can say what you want. You can interpret what you want, but the stats that we have say that it's better to not. You can interpret it any way you want to, and maybe contextualize it better. At the end of the day, the stats don't lie. Like, I thought that too, but I think it's wrong. Like, I just think it's wrong. Yeah, like, to me, Narrate is so... His numbers on Initiator are so disgusting. Like, you know how hard I simp for Leo as a player? Narrate's numbers make Leo sometimes look a little bit like, whoa, what the fuck? Leo's generally on the ratings and stuff is always going to be high, but Narrate's like ADR and stuff, it's obscene how much damage he does. I think it would be a very big mistake if they don't keep Narrate on in the shares. No, I know that that kid will be good on any role he plays, but I think it's a mistake. The very little we've heard about Sen in the comms and stuff, I do feel like John QT maybe doesn't mid-round as hard as maybe some IGLs do. Maybe, like in the brief moments I've heard stuff. So they've kind of interpreted that as like he needs to be in the pack to make this IGLing work better. But maybe just it's fine. Like, okay, my super team. Are we presuming Neon's nerfed or is it this tournament? If Neon's still broken, we got jawgemo. Do we go Valen, Sayo? Honestly, I'm putting Chronicle as my Senti.
Just having all those factors.
Alpha? I don't know what role does Alpha play? Duelist, Recon, Flex, Smokes, Senti. My team's poo? This is insane. I honestly think we go Viper, Senti. Like, if Alpha wants to play Sentinel, then maybe he gets on the team. But right now, a Chronicle's a better lurker, and he's not whining about what agent he wants to play. So, is Woot been good recently? I feel like Woot wasn't as good recently. Like, number 2 would be Woot Duelist. And then Kron Flex? Maybe? Ryan's clears Woot. On Flex? I think Sayo is the truth, honestly. I think Sayo is going to be the truth. Meteor Senti? That's true. You're right. You're right, Leaf. Like, I'm more than fine with Ryan's on Recon. Like, I'm coach, obviously. It wouldn't be me without hiring child labor. Like, if it's Coach Mini, like, we go child labor every time. Buzz Duelist? I accept Buzz Duelist. I just think that Woot can just take over the world with Duelist sometimes. Benji Senti? I don't think Benji's like a role-playing Senti. Like, he's a good Senti. Traditionally, the teams I coach are like, you just have a load of fraggers. The jawgemo hot take? It's not that hot a take. I think that in a Neon and Raze meta, that jawgemo will be the number 1 pick in NA. But like, if we see this go down, and that becomes like more like Yoru Jet, the only thing about jawgemo is he's not really proven world-class caliber yet at these agents. Like, he's definitely world-class at these. Like, we can just see that. Whereas, like, this is where we have to start putting a little bit of a question mark. His Jet was still good, but, like, he played against domestic competition. Like, we've never seen him at, like, a big moment on a Jet operator. You know? Like, when we say his Jet is really good, like, I think every single one of us remembers him getting the ace versus NRG. It's those things that we need to just be careful of. Like, are we just biasing ourselves a little bit? The other thing, I guess, is, like, I'm a big Yoru simp, so... I think NA hates Yoru because a lot of the coaches don't have as much control. And I feel like a lot of the players seem to just be like, Jet. Yoru poo? I mean, objectively, it's not. It's way better than Jet. Like, it's not even, like, that close. Okay, we going for a fast C split, maybe? See by these wires and the position. Fast garage. Maybe some kind of, like, weird... I might be the GOAT.
Looking through B once again, flicking over the page.
Give me the contract. Give me the contract.
To this present, it is another split.
I've called it 20 seconds ago, guys. Why is Yoru so good? Because on defense you can do anything you want to. You can go for picks that no other agent in the game can go for, and you can fast rotate however you want to. On attack side, it's like really overrated to have the dash. Like, people seem to think you need to dash to exit, but you really don't. And then on attack you have lots of util that can still support and defaults and exits that Jet doesn't have. But generally you're picking Jet for defense side ulping anyway. That's usually where it gets its stuff, I feel like. the stun changes fuck Jet up, right? And then Yoru's able to just do stuff that the Jet can. Like, if teams don't play Yoru next year, they're actually in a fairly substantial disadvantage, I feel like. Like, there's some maps where it's, like, I think obscene. Like, I can understand on Haven why teams might want to play Jet. I can kind of get it. On Ascent, I can kind of get it. If you're not playing it on, like, Pearl or, like, Breeze, then I'm very confused. On those wide maps where, like, it just feels nice and you don't really need the dash because the chokes are all nice and wide. And Casey look good, but there are still a lot of teams that look better on paper. How many teams? How many teams on paper are better? Like, are you saying like Fnatic, Heretics, Kick, Vitality? After that, I think that KC's roster is just as, if not more, stacks than the others. Saadhak's never made a team look worse than on paper, if that makes sense. The way I value an IGL or a coach is like, have they made like a team look better or worse on paper? I don't think Saadhak's ever made a team look worse than on paper. I do think that this is maybe like a different challenge though, because he has to like, they did get to build like an actual team from scratch kind of thing. And like, they didn't have the same influences Vitality maybe did have, but they did get to choose. To coach IGLs, usually watch vids from analyzers like TMV. Not really. Like, I'd watch some stuff from people, but I wouldn't even watch Liggy. So like, I know a lot of coaches do, but I'm pretty confident in the problems we have sometimes that I don't need more problem diagnosis. Especially when I'm working with Anders too. Like, we have enough problem diagnosis that we don't need to. Why am I not coaching anymore? Because coaching is the most stressful thing I've ever had to do by far. And I'm 30 years old and I've done nothing but work for the past 10 years and I want to take a break. I have not had any semblance of a real life for the past four to 5 years. I have not seen my friends or family on a regular basis at all. I have not got any kind of social life. Love life, let's not even talk about it. So yeah, so I need to take a break and figure out what I'm doing, basically. Would you prefer a regular 9 to 5 days a week compared to coaching? If it paid me. This problem is you're trying to balance like several things at once, right? Basically, my decision-making process now is balancing time with money with self-actualization, right? So like, I need to figure out like what of those three things can I actually get? Because ultimately, if coaching is as stressful as it is, like, I don't particularly want to grind it for 10 years on a low salary, but it might be worth to like put in another like 2 to 3 on like a pretty decent salary. But then there might be other options too, which I'm exploring. On the bright side, I got to travel a lot. Okay, this is gonna put a real downer on it though. I got to travel to these countries, but you spend 99% of your time in a hotel room practicing. So like, I did get to see a little bit of the world, but ultimately most of what I saw was Hilton hotels. Like, I now know all the nice hotels around the world. Like, they did put us in some nice hotels, I'm not gonna lie. I now know the difference between the room size of different very nice hotels. Apart from that, I didn't experience that much culture, to be honest.